I wanted this to clarify a few inaccuracies that the governor said, in his press conference. And I'm glad that he took away something from the interview that I did with NJTV before, that he should be asking for us to send them a balanced budget instead of what he did yesterday and talk about horizon and go over the horizon and not about, of what he would do to a budget if it gets there. He should be asking for a budget to get there. That's why we're in session, and that's why my board list is open. Additional members will be coming down today to change their vote. Or cast their vote, I should say. Gary Scher had to leave the other day, so he'll be here today to cast his vote. We had one vote already changed from an abstention to a yes, because it's the right thing to do to get where we need to get. The inaccuracies that he said that the budget starts in the assembly. That is not true. Only revenue raisers start in the assembly. It's historically done, the Senate goes first. Not necessarily that they have to, but that's the way it's and pretty much it's always been in my tenure here. Other things that he talked about inaccuracy. Somebody asked him, when have I not delivered? He says, Atlantic City, we didn't hold hearings. Atlantic City, the Judiciary Committee held tons of hearings that were packed. And then he says, what we did with the legislation was a compromise that we sat in, and we actually worked on that legislation together, myself and the Senate President. So we worked on getting a deal. So if all of you can remember. So he could not tell you when I have not let him down. But actually, he let me down once on UEZs that we had a deal, and then he cut it out in the budget. So I can tell you this. I'm at 100%. He definitely isn't. So again, I tell you guys that one of the things that I am trying to do is get to where we need to get. Members come here, we get to 41, send them the budget, then we can talk about anything on the horizons. I've already said, he was saying I was rigid. Somebody came by and told me about a meeting tomorrow, which I was not aware of, and I had not been contacted. And I was supposed to meet tomorrow up north, late morning, with the CEO of Horizon, Bob Marino. I am going to change that meeting to make it north. So after that meeting here, I'll be more than happy to go and meet with Senator Sweeney and the CEO, because I have other legislators like Liz Moyo and Valerie Huddle and Raj Mukherjee that are very interested in working out a compromise bill. And I'll meet with the Senate President after to figure out what those nuances can be. So I look forward to the dialogue. And tomorrow, I will schedule a committee hearing. And the governor says, and I will tell you, we will make time to make sure we can get a voting session if we can come to legislation that is good public policy. I'll be more than happy to do that. And I've said it needs to be vetted. The bill that came from the Senate that just was walked over yesterday, it was assigned to committee. The one that was dropped in this House is still it's not in the system, because it does not go into the system until the next quorum call. So saying that, we have not had the proper time to vet anything. So for us to vote on something, it wouldn't be the right thing to do. We need to make sure when it's something that we're going to affect the biggest health insurance provider of the state of New Jersey that has over 3.8 million subscribers, and it's more than half of the insurers in the state of New Jersey. We need to do this in the right form and right way. As the biggest employer in Newark, it's about 550 employees. We need to make sure we get this right and do it right. And again, there's no urgency of getting done this tomorrow. What there's an urgency is signing a budget, because government shutdown. This Christie shutdown it's atrocious. And we are in the Christie hostage crisis day 2, that I can tell you guys, trying to hold the budget hostage because you're going to do X or Y because you're not getting what you want. Again, I'll repeat myself. the narrative, and everybody here needs to say it, this body, the Assembly, is the only one that's trying to pass a budget to get government going again. The Senate has not put up the bill. Yesterday, they had a session, they had it on their board list, it did not go up. They have to do their part too. They gotta come up with 21, and they have to do it, and then it goes to the governor. It's unconscionable that we are here today and talking, and, and the governor will come and do a press conference, and then I gotta come and correct, those alternative facts that he's talking. It's amazing. It's incredible. And listen, if you all know, it used to be, now he's saying that Bob Marino's telling me what to do. It used to be Steve Fulop. Oh, suddenly, oh no, it wasn't Steve Fulop. It was it's so-and-so. Come and talk to me. I give you an answer in real time all the time. So, everybody needs to get used to it. I'm for good public policy, and I will not be bullied into doing something that is not good for the residents of the state of New Jersey. And I'll keep it as simple as that. We need to end Christie's shutdown right away because it's hurting people.
What kind of compromise do you envision with Verizon, meeting with the
What I said yesterday, what I envisioned was set a cap that would be something that is nationwide, or I say standard, that should be enough for their reserves, and anything in excess should definitely go back to the ratepayers. And along those lines, and it should still be a body that can govern itself.
When you say you're meeting tomorrow with Marino, and what time is that? And what time with the other one?
Well, I was supposed to meet with him north around 11:30, so I'm gonna try and do that here tomorrow, like at 12 o'clock.
So have you changed your position that you won't consider Verizon legislation before the budget? Now
It can't be before the budget,
But you're
Sal.
saying you can hold a committee hearing tomorrow.
No. I can list the committee hearing for a week, 2 weeks, depends what it is. It has to be after. We're in session. The board list is open. We have a budget document. We get that budget document out of here. I send it across the hall, or if they get theirs done before me, they can send it here. I can substitute it, and then I can send it to the governor's office. Either way, that has to happen first, because we're in session and we want to open government. We're the only body that's doing this. Christie's shutdown is unacceptable.
Why can't you put a date on a hearing for this Horizon bill?
I'm going to do that tomorrow.
You're gonna put a date?
I'm going to put a date for the hearing tomorrow. That's what I said.
He says he doesn't believe that you can.
I heard him that I would put it, and then that I won't even be able to get members here. And you know what? It'll be difficult getting members here, but we will make sure we do. We have done this before. And think back about bail reform. I got members here in August to get it done because it was a high priority for everybody. So guess what? We have done it. So that's a lot of BS when you talk about that it can't be done. We did it for bail reform, and we got here people in here.
Is there any circumstance under which you could hold a hearing, say, before a budget vote, as a sign of goodwill or something?
I can't because I am in session. I can't put a committee hearing while I'm in session. I have to get this out of here, and as I said to everybody, this is not related to the budget. It's outside the budget. If this was the lottery bill, then I couldn't do that because it's part of the budget. And it's baked in already. I compromised and gave in to that. I compromised and gave in to his tweaks to the funding formula, as I compromised with the Senate President to his funding formula, that was the theme of this budget. School funding, if not, government's going to shut down. I said I wouldn't be part of it. That's why I'm here. And, and this weekend, and all of you, the same as us, we would rather be somewhere else, but we're here. And that's why, like I said, we had action today. We had another yes vote.
Well, Wisniewski said the other day that the people at fault are the people who are abstaining, and Christie said today this is a fight among Democrats. This is a fight among Democrats,
Well,
isn't it?
because it's the Christie, hostage crisis,
Which in
because
what ways,
he's holding.
It's Democrats that have to vote for the budget, right?
And it could be Republicans too, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying to you, some of these Democrats, He's holding them hostage because he says, I'm gonna cut X, I'm gonna cut Y, and they're scared of that. Now, I tell them, I think they should be voting for this budget, because at the end of the day, anything he does, it's on him. But I said, I've already have 27 votes up there that they've had the courage and understand that we can't keep government shut down. And it's unacceptable. So you have to draw the line here.
But are you saying
Yeah.
then he should capitulate, he should accept a budget without using the line item veto?
No, I'm saying he's gonna do whatever he needs to do statutorily. He's giving him, that's his power. That's what the Constitution gives him. It's our obligation to get it to him, and then he'll do what he has to do. We wanna keep all those priorities there, and there's still, outside of that, it's about 34.7, so think about 34.4 billion. There's a lot of other things that are funded there that are very near and dear to all of our hearts. So we want to make sure, John?
Yeah, is the issue with the reserves that the money doesn't in some way go to the state or go to somebody to spend, it would go back to the
Yeah,
ratepayers?
that's one of the thoughts, because the issue is if you actually don't do that and they have to raise rates and premiums, it's a tax on those people. So it would be a Christie tax on 3.8 million residents of the state of New Jersey, and that's not good public policy. I think you could use money for good things, but I don't think it's government's role to take from a nonprofit's money, because then we could be looking at other nonprofits and giving healthcare that we want to make it affordable with the uncertainties in Washington, with the Affordable Care Act, as we talked about the Medicaid expansion. All these things, this is not the right time to be doing this, so we need to take a pause.
And you're
Senator Sweeney had said that he would not favor giving the money back to ratepayers directly, but rather work in something where they don't get increased premiums if there's a certain amount in the reserve. Is that something you'd be willing to?
Listen, it's all up, and that's why we need those hearings, those debates, and like I was told the other day, we had 3 hours hearing in the Budget Committee, all negative.
Yeah.
And the bill just passed, so it was either they were waiting out to the last person to testify. You need to take that input. It needs to be a two-way street here. You need key stakeholders to tell you this is good, and then you adjust, because you went off the bill that the governor gave you, and you made adjustments to that. That doesn't mean that that's a good document either. John, I know you wanted to follow up.
You were expecting to get 28 votes now by the end of the day.
Yeah.
With the Sunday and share. Do you have any idea what it would take from some of the members who right now are abstaining?
There's a lot of members right now that are abstaining, that want to vote for, that will vote for this and want to vote for it, because there is a government shutdown, and they need to do the right thing.
In the past, when there's been a stall on a vote, leadership has walked around and tried to see what maybe a member needs. Sometimes they get like a new playground in their district, or have you made any efforts to?
Those days are gone. There's no money for us to, there's no Christmas trees here, but obviously I've been lobbying hard, a lot of, different members to try and get them to come. But at the end of the day, they all know that we have a government shutdown right now. They need to do the right thing, and we need to get a budget document to the governor. Yes, Al?
The governor has called a special session again for tomorrow. Do you expect your members will come all back into them tomorrow?
I am in session. You can't call a special session, of the legislature when the legislature is in session.
Sure.
I'm in session, my board list is open, I have every member within 2 hours called to be here. I get to 41, they will be here, and in 5 minutes, that bill will be across the hall. Yeah.
Assemblyman, the Lieutenant Governor issued a statement suggesting to you all that you put the Horizon Bill to the side and vote on another piece of legislation, reform legislation, mainly the sick pay and sick leave reform bill. But you can't get votes for that, can you?
Yeah, I have not polled about that bill, but I actually heard the governor saying that he wasn't interested in that legislation. I think he'd be interested. That's
offered it to him, is what he said.
that's something that I would bring to the caucus if there's anything a good public policy. But that even makes it even more of a extortion, Because now, if it's not this, it has to be something else. So then there is no urgency about the horizon. So if you're telling me that he'll take something else, then what's the big deal with Horizon? Then we should not be doing a rush job on this public policy that could potentially hurt 3.8 million residents. So right there in yourself, you guys need to start, connecting the dots. If that's okay, he'll take something else, then what's the big deal? Let's get this document over to him, put people back to work, open the parks, open the DMVs, the unemployment, and make people whole. People are not getting paid. We're hurting people. And all the members need to understand that. And that actually, as you just brought, David, to my attention, it's there. Look at it. It's a low-hanging fruit. Then Horizon's not such a big deal. Why can't it wait for hearings? Because you don't trust me? You can wait till lame duck. It doesn't matter when we get the people back here. What's the urgency? So right there, connect the dots.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Mr.
Dustin.
If there are members out there who want to vote, what's stopping them?
The board's
They're all
open.
here, they're not.
They need to understand. And, the court of, public opinion it's turning the tide. So they have to do the right thing. And I urge them. I've had, 27, the people that have been courageous enough to cast their vote and understand that there is risk here, but there's never assurances. And when he says that in 11, that there was that I wasn't in the room, I know some people that were in the room, but I can tell you, the pension and benefits was done at that time. I don't think the Senate president would have called them what he called them if there was not a deal. Last year, he actually froze municipal aid. That wasn't part of the deal, but he froze it after he agreed with us. So again, he could do what he can under his authority, and I don't have a problem with that. But again, the biggest thing we take away from this news conference, and David, thank you so much, him swapping it out for something else shows everybody Horizon is not as big of a deal. It just has to be something that's got to be held hostage. So that everybody should know.
You're essentially saying he has to tell your members that he won't line item veto
No,
their district.
I'm not saying
Is
that.
what you said?
I'm not
What
saying.
pressure does he have on them other than that?
Well, he's telling them that.
Well, under the Constitution, he has the line item veto.
That's
So
good.
he's supposed to give it up?
But exactly. So that's why I'm telling you, that's why my members should be voting for this bill. Because if they listen, a lot of these members already voted for it in committee.
Right.
This is the document that's agreed to. He actually said today something that's inaccurate also. He send me some budget, because I think I said that. And when I talked to you guys, there's already the one that's been agreed to. That's the only one he's ever gonna get. We already agreed to it. We put the lottery in it. It is baked into it. So you guys need to start focusing the narrative and saying who is shutting government. Christie shut down at 12:01 the state of New Jersey, and he's holding it hostage. This is day 2 of that crisis.
Like I said,
So
he's holding it hostage by saying he's
By-
gonna use his line item veto, which is constitutionally allowed to do.
that's what it is. Those members that are not voting are citing that, and that's what it is. And that's what I'm telling you. And as you just said, he's not going to give that up. And obviously, there are no assurances. Sal?
Do you think it's appropriate that all the state parks are shut down and the governor is using the helicopter to fly back and forth to Island Beach State Park with his family?
Listen, I'm not going to comment on his travel method. Those are what he uses. So I don't have a comment on that. Obviously, if you shouldn't be using state facilities, if people can't use them, but I don't know the particulars, so I don't want to make this about something else. Yeah, I don't want to make this about anything else. I want this to be about government starting to work and put people back to work and open up the state of New Jersey.
So your first vote, you were at 24 votes on Thursday, then 26 by then today, so it'd be at 28.
28.
Is this gonna take another week and a half?
I don't think so. Listen, I think this is when you hit dominoes. I think the first couple are maybe spaced apart a little bit further. The other ones are a lot closer together, and they're all coming down quickly. So that's my thought. That's my goal, and I think that people will do the right thing. We can't. It's unconscionable for us to be shut down. when we're here. You see us here. And all these games of taking a picture of my parking spot and all this, I'm here. I'm within 2 hours of calling every member. My board is open. We are in session.
Speaker, the reality is that if you get those votes and you pass that budget, he's gonna gut it of all of your priorities.
We don't know-
Is it worth it to you
We-
to do that? I can guarantee you that he's gonna do that.
You can. Can you give me the lotto numbers too?
No.
You never
I'm
gonna
telling you, he's
know.
gonna line
You
out
know.
and veto your
But
item.
listen. At the end of the day, you know, that's the way it works. There's no assurances in this. But for him to hold the budget hostage and create a government shutdown because he's holding it hostage, it's unconscionable. He can't have it both ways. And then he says something that I said, that's what he should have said yesterday. Send me a budget. That's what he had to say. He didn't have to go in there, and then he goes in, that I thought it was disrespectful to the legislature, to start then debating a bill and giving his opinion on every section of the bill. I said, we're legislators, that's our job. We do that, we vet that, and then we send it to him.
Aren't the members of the assembly the ones holding this process hostage if they're the ones who are not voting?
Well, he's holding them hostage because he's threatening that he'll line item veto stuff. But the members are the ones that have the responsibility to cast their vote so we can get the budget that they like, that they approve in the budget committee, that was negotiated, and that it went through the Senate, identical documents. It is our responsibility to get it across the hall. And that's my goal, because we're the only ones that are trying to open government. And as anybody said, I was rigid or anything, I've shown you that I want to negotiate, but it has to be after. It has nothing to do with the budget. And when David just said that he'll take something else, then it's not about Horizon. If that's what you're telling me, or is it about Horizon? Or is that just a smokescreen that he'll take something else? I don't know.
You mentioned you might have, a few more.
Make it
votes.
last. Yeah, there's other members that I'm telling you are close, that they're almost there.
But
So
For today, it's 28.
today, by the end of the night, we should be 28, hopefully if Gary can make it here, yeah. All right? Thank you so much, guys, appreciate it.